Hi guys. Okay, like many of you, I watched the debate between Candace Owens and Andrew Wilson, aka Erica Kirk's proxy talking head. And wow, if you haven't seen it yet, I'll give you the cliff notes and spare you the torture. Basically, it's 3+ hours of Candace screeching over Andrew and Andrew idiotically repeating the same question over and over while they argue over their opinions.
That we should be speaking. This
Yeah,
isn't
I know,
like
but
you get
I wanna,
to sit.
I want to ask you
if you
some
want
questions.
to depose me, you should join
I'm not
Brigitte
deposing
Macron's
you.
defense team.
This
But you're
is
like,
part-
I'm
this
just
is
going
a
to ask questions.
legitimate
Can
part-
you answer it? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know what you're going to ask. And
I
I'm
know.
going to answer
And if
as
you
I
have
see
issues
fit
with
because
it,
I'm not.
I get it.
The end. No new developments, nothing substantial, just two YouTubers dishing it out. But I'm still glad I watched. Because between the mind-numbing rants, I started to ask myself, what am I even watching? What is the point of this? Which then had me thinking, wait a minute, what is the point of this? Is it just a stunt to stoke the Erica Kirk, Candace Owens feud? And if so, why? To answer that, we have to go back to when all this started, analyze the timeline, and focus on the behavior, the pivot, the timing, and the response. Is the feud between Erica Kirk and Candace Owens even real? Or is there something else at play? Let's get into it. Okay, so let's start with the timeline. Phase 1. Just days after Charlie Kirk was assassinated on September 10th, 2025, Erica Kirk was already addressing the public online. Not as a distraught widow, but in full hair and makeup as the composed public face and CEO of the TP USA empire.
Our campus tour this fall will continue. America Fest here in Phoenix this December will go on. The radio and podcast show that he was so proud of will go on. If you're in high school or if you're in college, go find your local Turning Point USA chapter. If there isn't a chapter, you can't find one, then start one. If you want to get involved, the best way you can do that is going to tpusa.com. If you're a pastor, join our movement at TPUSA Faith. And if you're a parent, I highly recommend that you come to America Fest in December. If you want to get involved, go to tpusa.com.
Now, initially, the public was sympathetic, but a few of us saw right through her. Her bizarre performance, the gesturing, the fake crying, and the Trump merch prominently displayed in the video raised massive red flags for some. And as a behavioral analyst, I was one of them.
I want to thank the staffers of his amazing Charlie Kirk show.
What is there to laugh about? I don't understand these reactions. These reactions are not congruent with what just happened. Not for a person who's in shock, not for a person who's in mourning.
Who helped him broadcast from the studio,
Okay, gesturing. I told you guys, right? And it's right on cue. It's like from this, it's to me repulsive. It is perverse what is happening here. So I am trying to keep it together. But this type of gesturing, looking over exactly on cue, on this, like what is that? Like, what is that? This is so using devices for all this drama, for all this, like, I get so upset about this. But anyway, let's continue. At this point, conservatives rally behind Erica, excusing her odd behavior as just grief, focusing instead on security failures and the criminal case. Candace isn't attacking Erica. Yet. Phase 2. Candace begins questioning the official narrative late September to October 2025. Now this is where things start to shift. Candace starts to publicly question the inconsistencies in the official narrative and the lack of security that day. She criticizes TPUSA leadership and publicly demands full transparency from both TPUSA and the feds. She's still not attacking Erica personally, but instead she frames herself as someone who's trying to, quote, uncover what really happened, focusing on unanswered questions and TPUSA's handling of information. Phase 3. Candace turns against TPUSA and Erica Kirk. November 13th, 2025. This was the real turning point. Candace posts an episode about the, quote, 10 verifiable lies told by TPUSA after Charlie's death, and says that she believes that she's getting closer to uncovering the truth.
Here's our list, and this is by no means definitive, okay? Just getting this together briefly.
But pay close attention to this pivot. It's significant because the target shifts from investigating the murder itself to alleging deception inside TPUSA. Now, it's easy to conflate these and confuse them as being one and the same, but they're not. A real investigation would have focused on who in the FBI was involved, any possible breaches in protocol, and any possible chain of custody violations, not on whether Andrew Colvett lied. These are completely different trajectories, and this is what I want you to keep in mind. As CEO and chairwoman of TPUSA, criticism of the organization becomes criticism of Erica's leadership. This happens while Erica's public role is expanding. The suspect is in custody awaiting trial, and alternative theories are going viral online, questioning security failures, possible accomplices, political motivations, intelligence agency theories, and even theories about the involvement of foreign governments. Candace Owens was by far the loudest, high-profile content creator pushing these narratives. Phase 4, the open conflict. Early December 2025. This is when the feud becomes public. Candace gets more aggressive with her theories about Erica and TPUSA, while also accusing Israel, France, and the U.S. military of being involved in Charlie's assassination. Erica's team responds by mounting a massive PR campaign with multiple high-profile interviews. And here's where it gets weird. No matter what platform they worked for, each interviewer asked her the same question. What would you like to say to people who are spreading conspiracy theories online? This conveniently gave Erica the opportunity to dramatically stare into the camera and answer.
To stop.
Her over-the-top delivery was hilarious and spurned a million memes. But in retrospect, we can see it for what it actually was. A really bad reality TV script. Because although she didn't mention Candace by name, it was pretty obvious that that was exactly who Erica Kirk was addressing, which then became the perfect segue for Candace to start directly criticizing and questioning Erica. Again, notice that Candace went from, I'm investigating Charlie's death, to, I'm investigating Erica and TPUSA. The conflict explodes online, and conservative media divides into two camps, Team Erica and Team Candace. This is a classic divide and distract tactic, and it's at the height of this public feud that Erica Kirk and Candace Owens supposedly sit down for a private meeting. But why would they meet privately to address a conflict that they both played out in the public? Afterwards, Owens reported that the meeting allegedly lasted 4.5 hours. And I say allegedly because it's important to note that there's no actual proof that a meeting ever even took place. Erica stated that the conversation was productive, and Candace stated that misunderstandings were clarified. So it seemed like the feud had been squashed. But from a behavioral standpoint, Candace's first show after her meeting with Erica didn't add up. When a person is seriously investigating a crime and they get to speak with an insider who provides important information, even if it's off the record, then you'd expect them to share whatever intel they can in a sober, serious, and earnest way, especially when their viewers are heavily invested in the case. But Owens was quirky and flippant, giggling while brushing off criticism that she wasn't even addressing Erica's strange behavior.
You guys are absolutely crazy. The amount of people who attacked me for sending out a tweet being like, hey, I'm good, I'm alive. We had a very productive conversation. And they were like, she got the call. Calm down, okay? How ridiculous would it have been if I'm doing all of this, investigating, asking all of these questions, and then Erica Kirk offers to answer some of these questions. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to go. I can tell you guys that yesterday, for 4 hours and 30 minutes, there were no rules. I brought my cousin Mia, you know, the one that has a really bad attitude. I just bring her there for vibes. I think it just confuses people. They're like, I don't understand what's this person doing here. And the reality is she's like always just listening to Cardi B music. They have not seen anything that you have not seen, is what I want you to know.
What she didn't do is provide any relevant insight she got from the meeting. If things went so well, then why not enlighten us? Why not help put our questions to rest? Okay, but regardless, by all accounts, it seemed that the feud was over. But then just 2 months later, Candace launches her Bride of Charlie series and triples down on her criticism of Erica, dedicating 8 episodes to investigating her and her family. Now, I wasn't going to watch it because at that point, I had already had my suspicions about Owens, but you guys asked for it, so I did. And here's my take. Episode 1 opens with a tweet posted by someone named Elizabeth Lane, who concluded that Erica was psychopathic and a, quote, bad actress. But none of that was new. I made the same analysis and came to the same conclusions, practically verbatim, months before Lane did. The bulk of the episode was dedicated to conspiracy theories about psychology and MK Ultra, and alluding that Erica had probably, maybe, perhaps been programmed, and that would explain the inconsistencies in her narrative, like her claim that she was raised by a single mother when both her father and her stepfather were present in her life growing up. The rest of the series is more of the same. A lot of time was wasted on unsubstantiated claims and honestly connecting dots that are not only far-fetched, but irrelevant to Charlie Kirk's assassination. Now, whether you like her or not, I think that we can agree that Candace is smart. So it's possible that she revealed legitimate connections in her Bride series, but it's the way she presented it that makes me question her intent, because it feels less like an investigation and more like information overload. This is another classic distraction tactic used to confuse and overwhelm the public. Hide the facts inside enough fluff and no one will notice them. What remains unanswered is why Candace pivoted from Erica and I are okay now to her Bride series when it seemed like everything had been settled. But what's most telling is what happened afterward. Not sure if you guys remember, but back in February of 2021, Candace herself floated the possibility of running for president. There were occasional articles and MAGA discussions about her future political potential for years after. Now, no major conservative institution considered her to be a viable candidate because Trump was the clear frontrunner, and Candace was seen primarily as a media personality. But after the feud with Erica blew up, the President-Candace conversation suddenly started reemerging. At the same time, Erica was quickly increasing her own political power, not by openly positioning herself for office, but by acquiring something much more valuable: influence without accountability to voters. At America First 2025, Erica publicly endorsed Vice President J.D. Vance for president in 2028. She didn't hint at it. She outright said that TPUSA would use its influence to make him the 48th president. That was a bold move because Trump was still in office and the 2028 field hadn't even formed yet. And this is where their divergent paths solidify. By December 2025, you had 2 women emerging from Charlie Kirk's death with 2 very different trajectories. Erica Kirk, who looked increasingly like a kingmaker and part of the conservative establishment's succession planning, while Candace Owens looked increasingly like a populist insurgent, the leading symbol of a faction distrustful of that very establishment. Do you see it yet? This is where the story stops looking like a dispute over Charlie Kirk's death and starts looking more like a struggle over who gets to shape the future of the post-Charlie conservative movement. The public feud is what everyone saw, but the underlying fight looks more like a struggle over influence, legitimacy, and control of a powerful political network. So, is the feud even real? Looking at the behavior, the pivot, the timing, and the response, 3 theories are possible. Theory number 1. Yes, the feud is real. Candace truly believes that Erica's involved, and Erica truly believes that Candace is exploiting a tragedy and harming her family. The conflict is genuine. The political consequences are just unintended downstream effects, and the timing of the events is all just a big coincidence. Theory number 2. The feud was real, but became politically useful. Erica Kirk and Candace Owens might honestly dislike and distrust each other, but the political actors around both women exploited it. Now, I could believe this happened with Erica, but with Candace, not so much, and I'll explain why in a minute. Or theory number 3. The feud was a stunt from the start. A tragedy was leveraged. The players were chosen, they agreed to the arrangement, and once the conflict started generating attention, popularity, money, and influence, then both sides had incentives to keep it going. In this theory, the public feud between Erica Kirk and Candace Owens serves a much greater purpose: legitimacy. By elevating both women as post-Charlie political figures and keeping their respective followers engaged, then whoever's pulling the strings gets public buy-in, and genuine investigations into Charlie's death disappear. Now, from this perspective, Candace Owens is the perfect controlled opposition to Erica. She was Charlie's friend, she knows all the players, and she has access to information. She's based her whole career on investigating the truth. So by having Candace go after Erica, the public believes that someone credible is doing the real work. So they don't have to. And because her audience trusts whatever she says, Candace Owens is in the perfect position to shift the public's focus away from an investigation to whatever else. Look, whether it's real or not, the public feud is viral entertainment in political circles because there's nothing Americans love more than rivalry and competition. And there's nothing wrong with that. But confusing entertainment with leadership is exactly how we got into our current situation to begin with. So my question to you is, at what point do we finally learn from our past mistakes? In my opinion, I don't think Erica has enough, okay, let's call it internal life to come up with the scheme herself. By all accounts, she seems like a person who does whatever she's told to get what she wants, a pawn for a payroll and little else. But Candace Owens, that's a different story. Unlike Erica, Candace has made a name for herself by claiming to stand for virtue and transparency, by claiming to take great risk to her own life just to uncover corruption, and by demonstrating that she has the intelligence and the fortitude to forge her own path. And although, in my opinion, she's been off the rails for a minute, she has in the past at least presented herself as a serious person. But honestly, I stopped believing in her authenticity a while ago. Because frankly, I'm not sure that I can believe that the French Foreign Legion is out to get Candace Owens.
You can have a conversation as we've agreed to.
Let's talk about the Foreign Legion.
Sure.
Was the Foreign Legion, do you believe, trying to kill you?
Yes, that's why I reported it to the correct officials in government. That's what I was told, and I handed over that information to Tulsi Gabbard's office.
What's your best piece of evidence for that?
Well, it was
positive evidence.
Now, I'm not saying that she's delusional. I'm just saying that she sounds nuts. It stretches the imagination that a mom of soon-to-be 5 very young children would put her own life at risk and that of her family just to report on politics and scandal on YouTube. Doesn't it seem more logical that if she's making outrageous claims, it's because she's confident that she can safely do so? And if she's that confident about it, then wouldn't that also mean that this could all be a stunt? And if it is a stunt, do you really think that Candace is so gullible and unaware that she's somehow being manipulated to take part in a deception? Or would she more likely be a willing participant, part of the same system that she so publicly criticizes? Okay, so I gave you the timeline, the incentives, and 3 possible theories. So what do you think? Is the feud real? Is it fake? Or is it something else? See you on the next vid.